What's a simple pleasure in life that never fails to make you happy? Peeing out on my sailboat in a nice stiff 15 knots breeze while on a beam reach on a sunny day. For those that aren't sailors, a beam reach is when the wind is blowing straight across the side of your boat. It's the most efficient and least effortful way to sail. 15 knots of wind is enough to get my boat up to about 6 to 7 knots, which is pretty good for a 5 knots boat, and the whole thing just starts quietly purring like a contented kitty from the wake turbulence of the water rushing past the rudder and propeller. My stupid rabbit literally just looking in my direction. He has the silliest little face. He either looks really serious, or just like the exact opposite. It's hilarious to me. As I walk past when I'm going down the street, I feel like we people who grew up around our animals were programmed to like dogs the same way dogs are programmed to like us. They just have such good energy. 2 things. Point 1, when you pick your nose and the booger has a long tail that was stuffed way up in your sinuses, and you can feel it when you pull it out, then all of a sudden you can breathe clearly. 2, when you go to pick something up that you think is going to be heavy, but it turns out it's empty or much lighter than you expected, and suddenly snatch it up by accident. A warm cup of coffee, sliding into cool sheets at the end of the day. When my cat headbutts me, a clean kitchen. When all the laundry is done, folded and put away. Starting a book and realizing I'm really into it. A hot shower or bath when I've been cold all day. Driving with the windows down and music on and the sun is shining. The very start and end of each day. Every day my wife falls asleep next to me in bed while I read until I start nodding off myself. And in the mornings we cuddle, or try to ignore our phone alarms. I don't know how or why, but my wife is like a hot potato by the time it's morning, so snuggling up to her always feels extra comfy. When I come home from work every day, I'm assaulted dino style by my 2 large pit bulls, then greeted by my toddler grandkids. No matter how shitty of a day I have had, that greeting makes me feel like a rock star and the coolest guy in the world. The genuine love and happiness shown for my May presence is very fulfilling. A quiet morning with a cup of coffee. The relief of walking through the door at the end of the day. Removing my bra. Removing makeup. My dog laying beside me. A warm slice of bread with butter. The sound of birds chirping. A cozy, rainy day at home. Also a sunny day. The simple things are truly the best. Tea. Ice cold Coke that burns when you drink it because it's so damn cold. My husband hugging me. My corgi greeting me after a long day of work she passed and I still missed her. Fresh bread and butter. Hot water on a cold day. Just washing your hands with hot water is such a delightful moment. A hot shower is also a bliss. Anytime. A cold shower on a hot day feels like Valhalla. A cold glass of water is so much more refreshing and makes you feel alive. I just really like water. Hot sauce. I have hundreds of bottles. I put it on everything I eat. Even ice cream. I do Instagram reviews for it. Even though I only have about 500 followers, everything I do seems to revolve around it. It gives me a little boost every time. The smell and sound of a thunderstorm rolling into a dry day. When you hear the rain start rolling steadily across the city, the smell of that freshness. It's all the stuff in the air either gets forced down by the rain or pushed by the wind. Pain, honestly. It's nice knowing that I'm working harder than someone after a long day. I came home yesterday from something and was about to chill and then told myself to do something else. And imagine all the lazy people while I'm grinding. A force down below that builds and creates pressure, though in the comfort of your home may afford a certain pleasure. Is anathema in public where there's no turning back, cause the bloody thing has forced its way almost out your crack. For me, it's definitely the first sip of a freshly brewed cup of coffee in the morning. There's just something about that moment of warmth and aroma that instantly lifts my spirits and sets a positive tone for the day ahead. I cuddle with my purring cats, though it's very rarely at the same time since they seem incapable of not winding each other up. Even better if they have been sleeping and wake up to move closer to cuddle in. This is when on Friday, half an hour before the end of the working day, you start to feel happy, because you have the whole weekends ahead of you, and you can do whatever you want. This is the happiness. I looked through some of the comments and I didn't see any say what I want to say, but laughing, I love to laugh. It always cheers me up. Get on YouTube Shorts or TikTok and just get lost for hours. My empty house, just for a few hours, where I have nowhere else to be, no one depending on me and no jobs to do. Literally a few hours on my own, in my own environment, to do whatever I want. Bliss. Hearing the birds singing just before the sun rises. The world is about to wake up and colors fill the streets. The night's tranquility slowly fades and life starts to pulsate through the sweet air. When it's December and you're driving down a residential street and you see the glow of those multicolored string lights on people's Christmas trees through the window, always fills my heart with joy. Cuddling my baby nieces or nephews. Babies have a contagious sense of peace. You can just hold them or feed them a bottle while you tell them about your day without feeling judged or rejected. Remembering coffee exists in the morning, and then drinking it. The curiosity of my children, their novel take on life, and their cuddles, flowers, and the optimism of sunny spring days. When I wake up in the morning and stretch, but don't say anything, and I can feel my dog's tail wagging like mad because she realizes I'm awake and is so excited to interact with me. Snuggling in bed with a big cozy duvet all for myself. Walking home from work when it's sunny and not too hot. Freshly squeezed orange juice. It tastes like sunshine, somehow. Eating my favorite food. Watching Netflix shows that I like. Being able to sleep peacefully without alarm clock. Taking a long hot shower, drinking cold water after gym session, getting high and listening to music. If I were rich, though, I'd live on a beach cause as long as I can see and hear the ocean. There's genuinely nothing that can bother me. Putting an over-easy egg on any rice dish, kimchi anywhere, anything. A long shower with a boozy seltzer, and a good book or my Kindle that is secured in a Ziploc bag. A really good fart when you're finally alone after holding in for a while, and it actually cures the slight stomach pain you didn't realize you had. Sweet, sweet relief. Shopping for food after a day's work, knowing I have earned it. Never forget that going shopping is a privilege, not a right despite what consumer rights tells you. Sitting in the morning sun, watching animals graze, being greeted by my better fish, finding a snake during a hike, or just days where I feel less sick from lupus. Sitting on my back porch with a beer, gardening in my yard, doing carpentry on my back patio, or watching my kid and dog play in the yard. I fucking love my yard. When I crave a specific food, and I either have all the specific ingredients to make it at home or already have it ready bought at the house, just pure happiness. Watching my grandkids, when they're not focused on the fact that I'm watching them, like at their soccer and softball games, or playing with their friends. I collect all comics magazines. One wall of my tiny office is filled with them. I love opening the door and stepping inside and being surrounded by that smell. You know how every day there's some news about racial tension or discrimination? I'm very happy to see people from different backgrounds hang out in public. It used to be walking, listening to music, and working out, but now nothing really makes me happy anymore. Depression fucking sucks. I feel so numb and lifeless. First cup of coffee in the morning. It doesn't even need to be particularly good coffee. Just gives me a little surge of energy and it tastes good. A little bit of scotch on a Friday evening that signifies the ending of the week of work into the weekend, even if it's usually only for 48 hours. Watching the sunrise, even without seeing the sun. The soft glow in the sky never fails to amaze me, whether I'm in the city or in a rural area. Bathing in the blood of my slain enemies, as well as using their flesh as fertilizer for gardening, which is another one of my simple pleasures. A pot of stock, soup, or sauce simmering all afternoon on the stove. The smell of petrichor during a rain shower. feeding crows or pigeons, holding a sleeping baby, to smell of rain, watching a thunderstorm, seeing a sunrise, sunset, hanging out with my family, and so much more. I thank the Lord for a cool breeze on a hot day. Perfect moment to close my eyes, feel the coolness, and feel gratitude for so many things. Seeing a cupboard or fridge full of food, it means whatever happens I won't go hungry. Also watching my pets eat and knowing they are fine. Arriving at my destination at the exact moment the song ends always makes me feel like I have a soundtrack to my life. Cut. Next scene. It's finally feeling like spring around here. I walked out my door and took a deep breath of the warm spring air, and it was perfection. Getting my shoes shine. It's so relaxing, and no matter what you look like, you immediately look better when your shoes are shined. Going grocery shopping every once in a while, I go to one of the big Aldis, Tesco, or Iceland and just have a good time browsing, seeing the creamer form on my freshly brewed espresso. It's always that yes, I nailed this shot feeling early in the morning. There's a guy on YouTube who makes videos about how much he hates dogs. I like to unwind and listen to him unload about it. Snuggling with my husband, children or pets. Any one of them can curl up next to me, and it's an instant boost of serotonin. Pulled all my old vinyl out of storage, listening to a side of a good album, and just relaxing for about 30 minutes.